Hey guys, Wages World here. Got some stuff to talk about today. We've got something the sun hasn't done in over 20 years. It's pretty amazing actually. Since solar cycle 23, we got some monster sunspots facing Earth 3 times, 4 times, 5 times bigger than the sun, bigger than the Earth. I'm sorry. And yeah, we got some other stuff to talk about also. So let's just kind of dive into this and let's get to it. Um, Also, guys, we got some flares that just happened. So, yeah, let's dive into it. Now, guys, what you're looking at there, sorry I am a little bit late. So I am just going to dive into it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Aaliyah, good to see you, girl. Everybody else, hello, hello, hello. Please share it out. And, yeah. I usually get my notifications sent out, but I literally just sat down and had to go live. I got stuck doing something I wasn't planning on doing, and it just ended up being that way. So, anyway, so what hasn't the sun done in about 20 years since solar cycle 23? Well, let's go take a look. What you're looking at here, though, first is SDO. It's a satellite from our perspective. And you're looking at extreme ultraviolet. It singles out a specific angstrom of light. This one happens to be the 211. And what it does after that, they assign it a color, and it's looking at a specific gas. I'm not quite sure what gas the 211 is, what shows up in that angstrom, but they could assign this any color they wanted, and they gave it purple. So, we're able to see coronal holes. That's the atmosphere of the sun is the corona. When that opens up, it exposes the surface. High charged particles flow out. So we get blasted with it. It increases space weather and can put us into geomagnetic storming. And that's why we talk about it, right? Especially with the bigger ones. And actually, it can be long duration CME, not CMEs, but solar storms. So, depending on how big the coronal holes are, if there's multiple ones, all that. But I did a show, let's see here. When did I do that? It's been a week or two ago. And what that show was on Sunspots, right? And we had, for the month of, I believe it was July, we came in at the highest number we had for sunspots facing the Earth in close to 20 years, okay? This month is actually on pace to be more. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. This is actually pretty decent sized space weather news. So if we come over here to spaceweather.com, this is Dr. Tony Phillips. I was going to talk about this a little bit too, and we will as we get into it. That most people know what that is, but a few years ago nobody knew what that was yet. So it would kind of freak you out, that going across the sky, right? Yeah, so that picture right there, I believe, was in 2023. So yeah. But with that being said, big spiral going across the sky. What the heck was that? No idea even what that was. Let's try to pull that back up again. I don't know what the heck that was, guys. Sorry about that. That's some crazy looking article or something. I must have clicked on one of the advertisements there. I bet that's what I did. Hey, Ron, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Guys, whoever got those, please tell him thank you. And, yeah, tell him thanks, and I'll give him a proper thanks in a little while. We'll stop about halfway through, and I'll tell everybody thanks. So, this spiral here is from a SpaceX launch, okay? And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. I'm not going to, dwell on that. We've talked about that a few times. But what we're here to talk about with the sunspots, I mean, just look at all these. And this is not, I mean, and how they calculate sunspots does take some explaining. And I'm not going to, take the time out to do that. If you guys really want to know how that's done, it's a pretty easy Google search, and you guys can look at that. But that's how they, when we see an official sunspot number, what it comes in at the end of the month is what they go off of to plot for the sun cycle itself, right? So if we're looking at these right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 significant regions here that have sunspots, and I can tell you right now, this one and this one are naked eye sunspots. You could go outside right now, if you're in the daytime listening to me, put some eclipse glasses on and probably look up at the sun and see both of those spots. Now remember, field rotation is a thing, okay? In other words, when you go out, the sun is vertical here. When you go out, depending upon your latitude, these spots are going to be in a different area, okay? Because we're moving, we're rotating. So that changes the angle of which we see things, and it makes things appear either to roll or to circle, depending on if we're looking at a star for long duration photography, astrophotography, that kind of stuff. Field rotation is the culprit for all of that, okay? We're moving, it's not. So, well, it is, but not enough to make a difference in a visual, okay? It's far enough away that it appears to not be moving. So, anyway, I just wanted to explain that little bit of, yeah. And I went over that ad nauseum myself quite a few times, but we'll probably continue to talk about it because it continues it's far enough away that it appears. Sorry about that. Continues to be a thing. 5G, $10 super chat. While young, I was a nuisance to God, so he gave me spankings. High frequency. Yes, it hurts. Bless. At Wages Channel. And P.S. Just now, thank you to whoever gets the memberships. Hero. Yeah, thank you, 5G, for the super chat. Really do appreciate that. That was Aaron gifted those memberships. So, and I'll stop and give you a proper thanks here in just a few minutes. I wanted to make sure I read out your super chat there real quick. Okay, now, guys, we just had another flare here that almost got to R2 range. So that's an M-class flare, probably around a M4 maybe. Well, I bet Dr. Tony Phillips has got here M3. Okay. So with that being said, that's a decent size flare, and it looks like it was a little bit of a more longer duration, not so much impulsive. Okay. That's why you see the yellow that kind of tails off there. Our geomagnetic activity actually was risen right now, guys. It's been a little, how can I say this? A little, I don't know, elevated, I guess. But it's really not like into storm level. But we did see some space weather hit today. And to be honest with you, I think it's coming from some of the coronal holes. Now, remember, the coronal holes do increase our seismic activity. So always remember that, okay? Now, with the flaring here, we need to go see what happened as far as did it produce a CME. So we come over here to LASCO C2. This is over here at SEEDS, okay? And it's ran by the George Mason University Space Weather Lab, right? You can get this data multiple other places. I just come here. A lot of us come here because it gives us a difference image coronagraph. And let me show you what that is here in just a second. But Soho's right there. It's from our perspective. Okay, it's really pretty much all you need to know. It's 1 million miles closer to the sun, so it gives us about an hour warning when things are coming our way. But it also gives us a clear view of the sun when it has CMEs. And this is what this is here for. It's a CME detector. Okay? So when you come down here, they highlight it when it's an event. And they do it by the angle, how wide it is. Okay? From one side to the other. And I'll go into more, I'll show you that when we click on this here in just a second. But you got 120 degrees and greater. Those show up in red. And in my display, the 60 to 120 is orange. Your display, I think some of them are yellow. Just depending on how you got your display set up. Then the other ones are black. Just kind of the smaller, not so wide eruptions. So if we look at this just happened. Okay? 2200 hours, which would be... That would be 10 o'clock UTC time. So if you take 4 hours off of that, that's 6 hours. That would be 6 o'clock, right? 6 p.m. Eastern is when that happened. So that was about 2 or 3 hours ago. So this is fairly new stuff. Now, I'm not going to be able to give you a whole lot of data on this probably because it just happened. Now, it does look like if this is coming our way, and we'll go look here on SDO here in a second and see exactly what area of the sun this thing ripped off of. Okay, but what you're seeing here, guys, is that the CME from that flare. Okay, and once we see the flare, then we'll know exactly where this CME is located. But if this is going directly to our right, and to be honest with you guys, it kind of looks like it's either coming at us a little bit more, or actually it could be going off the back at an angle also. It doesn't look to be a direct 90-degree shot off here. Just by knowing what this thing looks like when it produces a 90-degree CME, I'm going off of visual. And we'll take a look at it here in a minute. But as you can tell, it did produce somewhat of a halo here. Okay, so we probably got a 180 degree here. If that holds and it's actually on this side of the sun, that probably will have an Earth directed component of some sort. It's not going to be a direct hit, not in the middle, obviously. But this could be a side hit or even a glancing blow. What that all means, we'll go into that here in just a second, okay? But I do want to show you, we're going to try to, I'm just now seeing this for the first time myself, okay? So we're going to see if we can't see these flares. On this one, it's kind of hard to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angstrom here. We're going to go to the 94 angstrom, and what that does is it allows us to see the more brighter flashes. And then we'll time it out here, and we'll see what we got. So we're at about... Okay. Yeah. So... So today is the 19th, right? So if we come over here to... What time was it? 2200? Okay, so what am I seeing here? Remember I said it looked like it could have went off the back? I think it did. Right here. See that? That right there is the flare that caused it, and you can see that the flare itself is partially occulted by the sun. So what I'm saying there is that it's just over the limb. So some of it, we're not even catching the whole brunt of the flare because the sun is blocking it. So there goes that right there, right? And you can definitely tell that it's not hitting us. But check this out. Okay? This right here is right in front of us. So that looks like that's a smaller eruption right there. So that actually could be the next game here. All right? You can see one... and then one here on the end. Okay, it's still erupting as we're talking. All right, so we may have another one coming. If this one does have enough oomph to get off of the sun, it will come pretty much right at us. That's in the Earth strike zone, right in the middle. Okay, there's probably not a chance that thing will miss if it actually does, if it's able to leave the sun. So, in other words, this one here. This one here is going off the backside. So I don't think we have much to worry about there. We did catch the flare from it, so it most definitely did cause an R1 radio blackout, which is not all that extensive, but it is significant enough to talk about. If we come down here and look on the D region absorption prediction model, what we're going to see here, we see bullseye signatures with flares. And wherever you see this bullseye show up, depending on how intense it is, like that right there, that would be a radio blackout. Okay? What I mean is ham radios and things like that. First responders use that kind of technology still. And then that definitely is the M3. Look at the time. Okay? So that is the M3 flare right there. It most definitely did. Now that I do believe that stayed inside an M1. Let's see. I can't remember where it landed exactly. Yeah, so that stayed inside of an M flare. It's an M3 with an R1 radio blackout storm. Now, it didn't have too much further to go to R2. So all that means is it would have been a little bit more intense. Okay, that's kind of why I'm showing you this. So this area here and this green area even probably experienced some sort of ham radio blackouts for a very short period of time. usually about an hour. It can hang on for longer than that, but typically with ones like this, it's about an hour. It looks like it's a bullseye right on Hawaii. Right there. So, aloha. Aloha. Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah. So, we got some Hawaiians here, don't we? I know we got some Hawaiians here. Where's she at? Where is she at? If she's in here, I'll say hi to her real quick. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? If she's not, then I won't. She probably is. If she's not, she will be. Okay, so let's just keep moving here. And again, guys, thank you again for those super chats and stuff, and the gift of memberships. Okay, so we can see if it's going to let us have any. Nope, no data yet for the 20th. So I am curious here on this one. So we'll check it right before I end my stream. If not, it'll have to wait till tomorrow. Again, guys, we got to have patience. We don't need to just jump out here and start saying a bunch of stuff, right? We want to make sure we look at it and make sure we get it right. Okay, so to the Sunspot. All right, right here, Dr. Tony Phillips is talking about it. The numbers are hovering between 200 and 250. Now, you're probably asking, well, how can they hover between this and that? Is it a fluent thing? How do they, calculate these things? Well, guys, there's a way to calculate them, and I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you right now. It would take some time to really have everybody understand it. And most people probably don't want me to take the time to do that because it would be more like a math class. Just saying. So, now also there's kind of two different official numbers. Obviously, we go off the one over here, but what Dr. Tony Phillips is talking about, 200 to 250 sunspots. So if we come over here and we look at the sun cycle, this is over at NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center. This was last month. We came in at 196. That was the official number. If we want to see numbers like that, we have to go back to solar cycle 23. Okay? So to see numbers like that, this is solar cycle 23, and 23 was a very active and obviously very active sun cycle. 24 was not. 24 was, yeah. Now, this is why we have conversations like this, because solar cycle 25, the one we're in now, was supposed to be very similar to 24. You can see their forecast. This is why it's Space Weather News. So, and this is also a big reason everybody kept kind of going back to 24 to kind of say how strong things were going to be, right? When we would see things happen. This is why a lot of it's getting under forecasted as far as the strength of it. Okay, people were so timid because what we were seeing just wasn't what we were seeing back here. Well, it's not going to be, because we're not in solar cycle 24 anymore. And I was part of that, guys. I really was. I was under forecasting, and I don't forecast, so let me just straight up say that. I was under reporting, I guess, what I thought the strength of things were going to be. And I would say, hey, yeah, guys, on the high end of things, it could get here. Well, when I would say that, almost every time I would say that, it would hit that high end. And yeah, and I don't want to be that person that just jumps out here and, we're not here to cry wolf. We're not here to do anything like that. So that's what I would say. Now we came in at almost 200 here. It's there. Listen, guys, check this out. If we hit that top end of that, what's that mean? That means we're actually stronger or more active. It has nothing to do with strength. It's activity. It's simply the amount of sunspots. That's it. Okay? That's how they judge the sun cycle. Solar cycle 23, the highest it got was 244, I think, right here in the month of July. Okay? So, also, I want to point out here, too, guys, it's going to be interesting to see, because this is the first spike. Then it's going to come down, and basically we have two peaks. and I've explained that before. We're going to see that here too. Okay? It's almost in it, and I don't know if it's in every sun cycle, but I would say it almost is. There's 23 again. Here's one here, and here's the second peak. Over here, that looks maybe not quite so much. But again, remember also too, our technology was getting better throughout all these years, right? So it might, but you know, we were probably seeing more sunspots. I don't know exactly, but you can clearly see in the data where you get two peaks. Okay, that's just kind of a normal thing that we expect to see. So anyway, solar cycle 23 had it. Solar cycle 24 had two peaks. We're gonna have it here, and that's just what's gonna happen. But the question is this actually the first peak, or is our first peak going to be up here? As it sits right now, I think that August is going to come in higher than July did. So if that's the case, we're already on pace to just at least be the same as solar cycle 23 here. So what does that mean? People ask, well, what does that mean, Wages? Well, let me tell you what that means. That means absolutely nothing other than the fact that the chances of having solar activity, like far as CMEs and massive flares and things like that, are increased. So our odds are better at getting these bigger types of eruptions, more of them, all that kind of thing. Now, one thing that definitely does increase is the overall amount of X-ray, okay? Because that's what it's producing. Each one of these sunspots are producing X-ray. So the more of those we have on the sun-facing side, or the Earth-facing side of the sun, the more X-ray that it's going to produce for that day, right? So, right now we got like 10 of them. If you had a couple, 2 or 3 more of these, then you're going to be at a higher just ambient X-ray level, right? And I show you guys that often here. Remember I said back in solar minimum, this baseline, you can see a baseline here. It was down here, okay? All that meant was there were no sunspots. Not continuous. So now we have them all the time, and it's just raised the overall average of what we're seeing on a constant basis. So if you add more on there, then guess what? This base rises. We've already been real close to having our base be in an M-class flare range at all times. So what that would mean for ham radio operators, they would have to deal with that every day. And so when we would get a spike from a flare after that, it has a better chance of hitting X-class range, all those things. So when we have a flare happen, we don't know, we can't tell you exactly how much X-rays coming out of that one specific sunspot. Because what we're showing you here is an overall X-ray collection from the sun-facing side. Okay? Why do we see a spike then? Well, because when you get that burst, then you get that massive immediate rays of X-ray. So that's why. Okay? So that's why it's important to know. Because we start getting up in here, that's when we start having some issues. And yeah, could have issues. But also, aurora becomes more normal. In the effect that, hey, if we're getting all these flares, if everything's up here, the CMEs are going to what causes aurora. So our chances of CMEs from that and seeing auroras from the CMEs is going to be better also. Okay? Now, I want to do something here real quick, and I don't oftentimes do this. Okay? So, let me do this real quick. Is that gone already? Where'd it go? There it is. Right here. Okay, I got a comment, and I'm sure it's still there. I don't erase comments unless it's vulgar or whatever. It says, why are none of these solar storms having an impact on any of the electrical systems like it was hypothesized that it would? Let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right now. It's one clear answer. Because it shouldn't yet. And we are seeing some effects. We see effects every time. They're low-level effects to moderate effects, okay? So if you want me to show you a grid down situation, that will never happen. Because if it's grid down, I won't be here. So I don't know how to answer that, okay? And that's why I'm saying this, because things happen. I mean, if it's not breakneck news, you're not going to see it unless you go look for it. We do see electrical issues. They're more localized and regionalized until you start getting into grid down situations. That's why. Okay, it is having an impact on a lot of things. We see it day in and day out. Look at the earthquakes. Okay, earthquakes, seismic activity is upticking. I mean, we're seeing this stuff directly correlating with space weather. We're seeing all kinds of auroras that we had never seen before in places that maybe we shouldn't be yet. I don't know. But we're seeing crazy extreme aurora sometimes. We're getting G-level, G4 storms and G5 storms. We're getting G3 storms that we didn't think was going to happen. All this kind of stuff. And me saying that we got that when it wasn't supposed to happen is probably not the right way to say that. It's probably more of a, hey, we got a storm here. This is what it is. We didn't expect it to get that high, but it did. It's not like, oh God, no, run for the hills. No, that's what I'm trying to tell people, guys. It's only going to be run for the hills one time. And I'm going to continue to say that. The one time it's run for the hills is going to be the last time that you hear my voice. The time before. Because I'm not going to be able to come out here and tell you. I can show you a CME coming, but I can't tell you what that CME is going to exactly do. If it gets here that it does not grid down situation, you'll never hear my voice again because we won't have power. So what I'm saying is things are happening. It's just they don't get reported in the sense of, unless it's a dramatic thing, the news doesn't report on it. And I think we all know that. So that's how I would answer that. And I'm not upset about that. I'm answering that because I've gotten that question a lot. And it's actually a legitimate question. Because it very much seems like that, right? It does. It very much seems like that to a lot of us. Unless you know that, hey, this is what we should expect. And that's what I try to do. I try to let you guys know what we should expect and what we shouldn't. And when it's something that we shouldn't expect, that's when it's real time, big time space weather news. And I try to bring you guys that whenever it happens. But if it's going to be a grid down thing, guys, this is why I want you guys here now. Because if it's something like that, I'm not going to be able to tell you. So you have to understand that if the power goes off on you one day and never comes back on, and then you go outside and you live in Florida and you look up at night and you got the most brilliant aurora right over your head, then you might know what just happened. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's why I do what I do. And I know I sound probably a little bit abrasive there. That's not my intent. My intent is just to be shooting straight forward to you, and that's what it is. I'm not mad at anybody. I mean, I get that question all the time. It just happened that I answered it this time. But make no mistake, that's a legitimate question they asked right there. It truly is. It is a very much wondered question to a lot of people. But if you hang around here long enough, you're going to understand that things are happening and we continue to show it to you. So we just got to make sure that we're ramping up at the same time and we don't go overboard with it. And unfortunately, all those people that are going overboard with it are causing questions like that. That's what causes questions like that. Because they're out here telling you that the next thing that happens off the sun, we're all going to be in the dark for the next 50 years. And all the sun did was burp and fart a couple times instead of throwing up all over you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, anybody out there doing that, have some just integrity and quit. Just quit doing that. You don't need to. There's enough to talk about and enough to show people. You don't have to do that. You just don't. So anyway, I'm sorry. A little bit of a rant. I apologize. Well, actually, you know what? I don't apologize because that needs said sometimes, I guess. Anyway, okay. So, back to Wages World here. Anyway. Now, guys, this is a SpaceX spiral, okay? We've talked about this a bunch, and this probably did freak this person out. Zach Goldberg. This is back in 2023. Had never seen one before, and you look up, and this thing is spiraling and going across your sky while you're trying to take pictures of Aurora. Could you imagine? I mean, you'd be like, oh my God, what is happening? You know, I mean, if you just didn't have any idea at all, right? And these things do look very brilliant. Now, let me say this too. If you're ever outside and you look up at night and you see something that's not this, right? It could be something totally different. Whatever shape it's taking, if it's symmetrical, I could pretty much bet you that it's not the end-all be-all, okay? Because most likely it's a controlled thing. If it's perfectly symmetrical, you know, typically nature doesn't work in that kind of environment. So what I'm saying is that you're probably not going to see it symmetrical. It's going to be all lopsided, doing whatever it does, right? But this is a very cool side effect of the SpaceX launches. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't even think that that's actually going on and all that. But, you know, I happen to believe that's actually what this is. Okay? And so with that being said, this is basically that. It's just spiraling through the sky. And I think I'm not really sure exactly what part of the launch that's in. I'd have to go research that. But this was March 5th, 2024. Okay, same anomaly. You can see, very symmetrical. Everything's happening there. So, once again, Dr. Tony Phillips is doing a bang-up job over here on his webpage. Please come give him some love, spaceweather.com. I've never even talked to Dr. Tony Phillips. I would love to talk to him, pick his brain. He's a very smart dude. Yeah. And, you know, speaking of doctors, you guys need to get over and check out Dr. Tim Up the Scove also. I think she's on the mend, too, after she had the COV-19er. I know I asked you guys to pray for her. Her and her daughter, I guess, had it. Yeah, guys, I think she's getting better. I haven't really heard a lot from her channel. I haven't really looked lately either. I've been so freaking busy. But, hey, Ripper. Good to see you, bud. Okay, so give me a roll call in there, guys, if you could. I would really appreciate it. Give me a roll call, and I'll say thanks again to Aaron for the 5 gifted memberships, 5G for the super chat. Really do appreciate you guys, and we will be doing a members only here also very shortly, probably the next day or so. Hey, Monk, good to see you. Hey, Trish, Virginia, baby. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. What's up, Renee? Oklahoma City, Grace Gibby, good to see you. Colorado Rockies, Ricky Spence is in the house. Rats here. Took out 8 panels 2 days ago. Yeah, them Dust Devils, most people think that they can't really do a whole lot, but they can, can't they? I mean, yeah, they're not going to knock your whole house down, but they're still powerful enough to blow things around. Hey, Gunslinger. PA, baby. Yeah, I seen that Gunslinger myself, actually. That's right, baby. Alabama, Karen, Rick Smith, Aaron, Wyoming, Michelle. What's up, Michelle Olson? Good to see you. Ashland, Kentucky, Jane Doe's in the hizzy. Daniel, near Chattanooga. Love Ruby Falls, by the way. If you've never been to Ruby Falls, guys, get there. it's worth going. Hey, Randy, Kansas. Good to see ya. Southern California, Mojave Desert, IG, checking in, baby. Ava from Mississippi, baby. Good to see you, Ava. Stephanie, Western Montana. Arizona's where Ras from. Mark J's from Kansas. Feeling vibes in Portland. Heck yeah. You're out there hanging out with Adam. Heck yeah. Well, he's up in Washington though. So yeah. All right, Florida Georgia line. Hey, not only is that a great place to go, they make some good music. When they get back together. Anyway, yeah, bad joke. Hey, Miss V, good to see you. Northern California, that's where Heather's from. Tree Hookers is, yep, that's Florida Georgia line. Hey, Dennis, St. Louis. South Side, baby, he's representing South Side. Representing the hizzy, I know where he's from. He's from Oregon, I think. Yeah, I know he is. I know where he's from. That regional. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Okay, so I will be doing a members only, guys, here in the next day or so. We've been watching some Zoom Court, and we'll probably continue to do so. But yeah, so I do want to show you guys the sunspots before we get off of here. Okay, so hang in here with me just for a minute. And again, guys, I'm sorry I kind of got started a little rough. I got stuck doing something right at the time I was supposed to be going live, and I couldn't get away from it. So I'm sorry about that, guys. That's how life works, you know. But that just is what it is. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the sunspots. And we're going to give you guys an idea of Earth scale to it and why I've been telling you guys these are naked eye sunspots. So this is the most recent image. Okay. This sunspot was naked eye yesterday. Probably was today too if you could still see it. But remember, now we got the parallax effect over here. Things when you're looking at a sphere, straight on, things will appear to be smaller than what they actually are. When they're more closer to the center, because you're actually changing the distance when this thing's rotating on a sphere. Okay? You're closer when you're right in the middle. That's why. Now, this one here, right? I would say this one here was bigger than this one ever was. And that one up there was a monster. So, what we're looking at here, now we can't just go off the black core. We have to measure from here to here to here, right? So we've got about 3.5 Earths wide there. Now you could probably almost fit 4 here. Yeah, you can fit 4 Earths right there. So that is a big area, guys. So, and that's this area here and this area here has been flaring. The one that just rotated off flared. So, yeah. So that's the size. If you guys want to take a look at the size of it and get kind of a comparison of, because we all got in our mind kind of what the size of the Earth is, and if we could kind of just take that, and that's why they do this, because it gives us a very good understanding of how big things really are out there. Okay? So that's just what I'll say there. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you guys tonight. I just wanted to make sure I hit those points and let you guys see that. Please get over and check out Ripper's channel. You guys get over and support Adam and Dex over on Marfugal and everybody else we talk about. I think Miss Dragon, seen a notification come through. I'm not sure if she's going live or if she did a video. She's been doing some stuff, some short stuff. She's funny. Axe and Nacho. But again, guys, thanks to AA Ron and 5G for the super chat and the gifted memberships. Actually, I probably should. Guys, hey, when I do that and I leave that comment on there for that long, somebody let me know. Would you? Say, hey, wait, just get that off there. It's been up there for 5 years. What's going on, man? Thanks to all my mods. I know Ilea was here. I know Ripper's here. Miss V, Renee. Who else is here? Ricky's here. Who else is still here? Just trying to see. Aaron's still here. He's a mod. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, baby. And all, just all the mods in general, guys. Honestly. Hey, Gunslinger's been a member for four months. Let's go ahead and put that one up there. How about that? There we go. Watch your six, everyone. Carry everywhere. Yeah. I do not disagree with that, brother. Now I know there's going to be people in here that probably do, and that's okay. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate that. You're on top of it. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. There you go. Guys, Mark is from France, I believe, guys. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Right back at you, Zilrin. For sure. For sure. And I'm not sure who left that comment, so please don't think I was coming at you. Disturbing World, I'm not coming at you, I promise. I just use your comment. I get that comment a lot, and it's a legitimate thing. That is a legitimate thing, so I want to make sure everybody understands that. That is a legitimate comment. That's a good thought to have. Why aren't we seeing these things? Well, because people that are telling you that you should are wrong. That's why. It's that simple. They're overplaying things, and I hate it when that happens because it makes what we're all out here trying to do, it just lowers the integrity of the whole genre. It really does. So, you know, we could come out here and start screaming the sky's falling all day long, but you're only right one time. And it's a shame that people can't see that about people that do that. For the life of me, I can't understand it. But, you know, it is what it is. I get things wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with being wrong as long as you come out and say, hey, I was wrong. Right? That's how we all learn. It's okay to do that. It's not okay to intentionally overplay something that you know. Because I know smart people running channels. I know these guys have some big brains, right? Some of them do. And when they say things like sometimes what they say, it just, you got to know that it's either intentional or they're being intellectually dishonest. Which is better? I don't know. But it just brings the whole level down, and I don't want to do that. I try to fight against that. So just know that I always send you guys to people that I think are going to give you good information, right? Now, sometimes the information, the people I send you to, they're going to be jerks, okay? They will. They're going to be jerks. They're going to be doing this. They're going to be doing that. I'm not sending you there to listen to any of that. If I point you to a channel like that, it's for one specific thing. Go look for the information. That's all I'm saying. Okay? If you want to know who I watch, all you can do is go to my subscription list. It's all there. I don't hide my subscription list. It's there. No need. I mean, it's really no need to. So, all right, guys. I am going to get out of here. I'm actually kind of hurting right now because of just kind of doing all this. Feel like I'm kind of, I don't know. Well, I don't know how to say it. About 1:20 p.m. Okay. Guys, Mist was in here saying she goes at 1:20 p.m. Is that Eastern, Mist? Let me see, girl. I can't remember if I went too far back here. Yeah, I do, don't I, Mist? I mean, yeah. Thank you for saying that, because I do. I get that comment a lot. Yes, please get over and check out Ripper's page too, guys. He's posting more often right now. He's getting back into the swing of things, I think. We all got to take a break sometimes from time to time. Life happens, guys. All right, guys. I am going to get out of here, guys. So, love you guys. Anybody that's a member, if you're not a member, please consider being one. We are going to be doing a members only, and we will be checking out some Zoom court and stuff like that. Pacific Standard, okay, guys. That's Pacific Standard Time, guys, from Miss Dragon. Okay, 1:20. So if you're on the East Coast, that would be 4:20. Well, no pun intended. 4:19. Got a minute, Right? Ain't that what they say? Anyway, I'm out, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid